Coming off of a dang near perfect card, this is going to be one that is probably the hardest I've ever had to predict because most of these fights are newcomers or people that only had one fight in the UFC so far, so there's not really much to, go off of. But I am absolutely going to try my best to steer y'all in the right direction here, all right? So first up at bantamweight, we have Chara Lampos, and I most likely said that incorrectly, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, versus Chad. And Chad has had more UFC fights, so he's definitely going to be more experienced when it comes to the UFC caliber level opponents. Plus, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, so I'm sure he's taking everything seriously right now. He's probably done all the research and he's super prepared for this fight. But I'm actually going to say I have Chara Lampos. Now, I don't know much about him and I couldn't even find his Dana White Contender Series fight. Like, I've tried, and I couldn't find it at all. I've tried ESPN. It won't even let you do it on the UFC app. So I'm just going to go with what my gut tells me, and my gut tells me to go with the guy with the longer name. So next up at lightweight, we have Thiago Moises versus Mitch Ramirez. And I went back and looked, and Mitch Ramirez actually lost his Dana White Contender Series fight, went to LFA and won a fight. So with Thiago Moises really losing to the people who go to the very top of the lightweight division, I have Thiago Moises. Next up, we have Josh Culibao versus Danny Silva, and I'm going to go with Josh here. The reason for this being Josh Culibao has 2 losses in the UFC, and those are coming to Lerone Murphy, who is a undefeated prospect, which I do think is a little bit fraudulent, but I'll talk about that later. And Jalen Turner, who I don't think is fraudulent. He's where he needs to be. But Josh Culibao has also fought Charles Jourdain into a draw, and he's beaten names like Melsik Bagdasarian and Nurdan Becky, or however you say his name. But with that being said, I will keep an eye out for Danny Silva, and I will learn from this fight for sure. Next up is Jafel Fialho versus Ode Osborne, and I'm definitely gonna go with Jafel just because Ode Osborne has been underwhelming in his UFC career, and Jafel's only loss so far has come to Muhammad Makayev. I actually see Jafel getting it done in the first round by submission. Next up, we have Natan Levy versus Mike Davis. I have Mike Davis. Now, while I have Mike Davis winning, I do think this will be a tough fight. Natan Levy likes to style on you when he's at a distance. You have to be the one pressuring him and be the one hurting him. But at the same time, even if you are doing those things, you are probably not going to put this man away. This man has unreal toughness. He's shown the will to keep pushing through even the worst of damage. The only thing really holding his man back is his level of competition, because the 2 people he's beat, I'm not going to lie, they're both not that good. The thing holding Mike Davis up is the fact that he's fought people like 155 Gilbert Burns, Sadiq Youssef, Borshov. This man has fought some very good fighters, but this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one to decide, actually. I do not agree with the odds right here at all. This should be a lot closer. It's just very hard to count out the guy that never gives up on himself. Here I actually switch and say Natan Levy. Sure, why not? I don't mind being called stupid. I'm going for Natan Levy. Next up, we have Gerald Meerschaert versus Brian Barberena, and I feel like this is one of the more obvious ones on the card. But the thing is, every fight starts on the feet, and Brian Barberena brings it. But Gerald, we've quite literally seen how to beat this guy multiple times. Go in, take him down. You basically have your way with him on the ground. You can do what you want here, but will you is the question. I got Gerald Meerschaert by round 1 ground and pound. Next up, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Isaac Dogarian, and I gotta ask y'all, why are y'all not going for Christian Rodriguez here? This man was the person who beat Raul Rosas Jr., is coming off of a back and forth fight with Cameron Simon, where I'm not gonna lie, he was doing most of the work. He was hitting this man with submission attempts, good stuff on the feet, controlling this man on the ground. Like, he's shown he has the skills. He has all of the skills, but he just needed to get the weight. The weight was his problem, and now he's at featherweight. Oh, this man is about to be a problem. Last time we saw Christian Rodriguez at featherweight, he fought Jonathan Pierce and nearly finished him with a very, very tight guillotine. Jonathan Pierce went on to have a 5-fight win streak before losing to Jonathan Brito, and Brito is on a 4-fight win streak, all by finishes. This man is about to be a problem. I got Christian Rodriguez, probably by decision or second round finish. Next up, we have Ovince St. Preux, OSP, versus Kennedy Zechukwu. I 100% agree with those odds, first round finish. All right, so I had to do a bunch of research for this fight because this fight does have so many ways both guys can win, and I'm going to explain what I see. First, Bryan Battle, stay at range, work the body, keep your hands up, go for the takedown, control him, similar to what he did to AJ Fletcher. Angelosa also fought AJ Fletcher, which was good reference for me of how this fight was going to go because they have similar builds, but the style is just a little bit different. Though Angelosa has a very stiff jab, and he's able to switch it up with his cross, and he's fast. He's super fast with both the jab and the cross, and you never know which one is coming first, but they are coming fast. Paul. Plus, Angelosa, we know when he fights against those taller guys, he's a little bit more aggressive with them, not allowing them to keep their distance, closing in the distance, and throwing his hands. And one thing I did see Bryan Battle do against AJ Fletcher is keep his hands down, not be too worried about his head. If he does that in this fight, he will get destroyed, which is why I said he needs to keep his hands up when I was talking about him. He has to keep his hands up because although, yes, you might be able to find the shot on this guy in the middle of his barbaric rage at you, but I doubt you're putting him out. If anything, all you're doing is transitioning him into grappling, and he's good there too. I think Bryan Battle's best chance here is to outlast Angelosa because at the beginning, I just know Losa is going to be putting on that pressure, and he is going to be hurting Bryan Battle. And he's very good at mixing it up too. Honestly, this is probably going to be the best fight on the card easily. Either ending fast with an early KO from Angelosa or an outlasting war with Bryan Battle coming out on top towards the end. Which one do I think is more likely though? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I would probably say Bryan Battle is who I'm going to go for here. Honestly though, I don't agree with these odds. I feel like this should 100% be a pick'em fight. This could go either way. For the main event, we have Tuivasa versus Marcin Tybura, and my goodness, this is going to be one that probably hurts me, but I want to say Tuivasa. Tuivasa in the beginning has to be aggressive. He has to put it on Tybura. He has the hands. He has the power to knock him out early. In my opinion, the later this fight goes, the more it favors Tybura. Tuivasa has never been known for his ground game getting submitted by Alexander Volkov, which isn't a bad thing. It really isn't. But if he can do it, I feel like Marcin Tybura can do it as well. It's hard to say because I don't really like fights like this where you gotta hope the person that you want finishes him early, or if it goes any later, it's not gonna favor him much. But I will still go with Tuivasa. I do believe he has the power, and he's smart enough to know to pressure this guy, hurt this guy early. You can finish him. That's all from me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like it, leave a comment about who you think will win each of these fights, or don't. I don't care, but I do care if you follow me on my socials. I'm going to just leave them up there for a second for you.